And I don't mean the Ravens kind of football. I'm talking the European soccer style football. Tuesday night was a sort of a momentous occasion, I would Padres game early to get home in time to watch Messier and the U.S. team play. Full disclosure, I was kind of embarrassed that I didn't get on a plane and go down to Houston and participate with all the airline points I have. It would have been a free trip and a $100 ticket, and I could have seen Messier play. Instead, I'm going to go on Sunday night to see Messier play at the Meadowlands. I got a guy to talk with. He is the longtime coach at UMBC, national Coach of the Year and Final Four participant 2 years ago. We're heading south and west for a guy that grew up, east in Highland. Pete Caringi, the head coach at UMBC, and the dogs are barking. And I know, Coach, you were watching the game on Tuesday night like everyone else. And, for a guy who played the game at a high level, coaches the game at a high level, you absolutely have to marvel. Say 48 hours after seeing LeBron James, right?
Yeah, that's exactly what I was thinking. I thought in a matter of 1 week, you saw two of the greatest players in their sport.
Be great, right? Not just that they're great; they did great things, right?
The greatest, yeah. And it's just watch what he did last night on that free kick was just I couldn't believe it. I got on the phone and called Sonny Askew right away, and we were both like it was like two kids. Watching somebody that you couldn't believe what you just seen.
It's like you've never seen soccer before when you see that. I mean, that looks like something out of a video game, right?
Yeah, that's exactly what I said. It looked like the video game where all right, he's going to put it upper nine. I mean, you couldn't have literally placed the ball with your hands any better than where he hit it. And it's just amazing. And you see him tying his shoe, and you're sitting there going, well, can he do it? Typically, when they're going to hit a free kick from there, they're going to hit.
He tied his shoe before he hit it.
Yeah.
And the color guy says, "Well, when Messi's tying his shoe, it's probably not a good sign."
It's trouble, yeah. And then typically they hit it in the other corner because they're going to try to beat the wall. Where the goalkeeper was, which is absolutely amazing. So I kept looking at it, playing it over and over, and like you said, I don't care if you don't like soccer, if you don't like the sport. You have to admire someone who's one of the greatest of all time.
Pete Caringi joining us here from UMBC. Okay, Pete, so I just want to give you my story because you and I were famously together the night that I told you, the first person I told that I was marrying my wife, because we were going to a Blast game that night up in Philadelphia together. And I want to give full disclosure for you. I've never seen Messier play, right? I saw Beckham. I never saw Pele play. And there's a part, I still haven't seen LeBron play, although I will. I just haven't gotten around to it. There will come a night when I will go see whatever team he's playing for play at some point. But I've seen all the greats play. I'm 47 years old. I saw Hank Aaron play. I saw Frank Robinson play. I never saw Willie Mays, a little before my time. But, I saw Pete Rose and Mike Schmidt. And, just go through any of those people. And obviously the Eddie Murrays and the Cal Ripkens. We kind of take that stuff for granted. But in the case of Messier, he's the greatest player in the world. Beckham came over here and played at the end. And there's a video, you can YouTube it. I watched Beckham bend the ball down at RFK Stadium on a corner kick where I was literally 5 feet away, when he kicked the ball. And I thought that was kind of cool, one of the greatest players of his generation. And now there's Messier, who has only played a handful of games on this continent, right? When you consider a couple of friendlies, they've come over with that goofy international thing they do. He played an incredible game, scored 3 goals in a friendly against Brazil up at MetLife Stadium a couple years ago. I have great regret for having not gone to that. And then I have great regret, honestly, for not being in Houston on Tuesday night when that shot that will never be replicated went off against the U.S. And, I knew it was kind of not going to be a great game. I knew they were probably going to lose. So that's maybe one of the reasons I didn't do it. But I am going to see Messier play on Sunday, and I consider it sort of right up there with seeing Rio de Janeiro or going to Hong Kong or seeing the Great Wall of China or anything else in the sports vernacular. I don't know. Maybe you've seen Tiger Woods hit a ball or Jack Nicklaus or Arnold Palmer or whatever, but there is something magical that I'm really looking forward to driving to New Jersey. It's probably going to cost me want it to, but I look at it as like going to the Taj Mahal, man. Am I right about that?
Yeah, no, you're going to go see greatness. You're going to go see a once-in-a-lifetime kind of player. And like I said, you love soccer, and you're going to see a great game. but more importantly, even for the person that watched the game, to watch someone like him play. If you'd have watched that game last night, you just seen greatness, and you have to appreciate that. And it comes around once in a generation. And one of my favorite players that I've seen was Pelé, and we were fortunate to see him here in Baltimore a couple times, play Memorial Stadium. But
Now, by the way,
is,
can I back you up on that? Because I want you to
Sure.
talk about your experience with that. Because the other day, I put up something about Messi, and I almost went to Foxborough on Saturday. Just, full disclosure, my wife hasn't been doing well, hasn't been feeling well, and kind of everything's a little bit hour to hour based on that. And we were going to go to New York and see Billy Joel Friday. I had sort of a romantic little thing planned, and she's just not well enough to do it. And my backup was maybe going up to see Messi play because they played Venezuela, and I knew that game wasn't going to be any good. There's part of it where you don't want to see a 4-0 game. At least I don't, and go through all that trouble. But to see Messi, okay. And I just kind of made a decision 2 weeks ago, and I've been tweeting about it and Facebooking about it. And someone, I believe it was Brendan Marr on my Facebook page, said, "Are there any pictures of even what soccer looked like at Memorial Stadium?" Now, Pete, I'm going to be honest with you, and this is deep in the recesses of my mind and my childhood. My dad took me to a soccer game at Memorial Stadium. It was 72, 73, 74. I mean, you would tell me,
That's
you're
right.
a little older than me.
That's right.
But my dad took me out there, and I remember having a program at one point. I don't have it anymore. I think they were called the Bays, but I don't know. I really don't know that period of time. But I Googled it, Pete. I can't find an image. I can't find a picture. I can't find a program. I can't find anything on Google that denotes this period of soccer. And I know the day I was there, I mean, Pete, it wasn't like going to a preseason Colts game there was no one there. Am I right or wrong? I mean, it was sort of.
Yeah, for Pelé though, they packed the place. It was a great crowd, and
tell me when that. I mean, give me a little.
That was around '73. Pelé came in with Santos, played the Baltimore Bays. We had the old Comets back then, the Baltimore Comets. They were in the NASL league. They were one of the original. But the Bays, a couple local players played. My brother-in-law, Tommy Wall, actually got in the game. And the funny story is, Pelé is...
he was on the field with Pelé.
He was on the field, and he's a defender, and Pelé has the ball. And he tells a story this is the world's greatest player. He has the ball, and he's, marking him now. He didn't know whether to hug him, whether to kick him, or ask him for his autograph. That's how nervous he was for a kid from East Baltimore to be playing on his home field against one of the world's greatest players. But Pelé he scored on a corner kick directly in. It was just, it was magical. And I remember it was yesterday, and he came in a couple times. We actually went looking for him down to Lord Baltimore Hotel. I was graduating from Calvert Hall in '73, and obviously he was on the 10th floor, his number. And it was me and Sonny Askew went looking for him, and obviously found him.
You found him?
Found him, got his autograph, and...
Where's the autograph right now, Pete? You went through all that trouble. Where is it?
I got it on a $20 bill up into my room. So, and I have, and I met him when I was with the NSCAA, and I got a big poster where he signed it. So he was one of my, obviously one of my favorite players of all time. And I watched someone like Messi play, and he's phenomenal. He's at that level for sure.
Well, I'm looking online now, and I found this NASL site with some stuff. Universidad of Mexico, Birmingham City. The Bays, Moscow Dynamo, right? I mean, the Moscow team came in.
They came in.
I mean, this is kind of finding stuff now that I'm Googling it a little bit more.
One of the greatest stories was when West Ham came to Baltimore, and they came and played a whole summer here. That was in '67, and England had just won the World Cup. They had Hurst, they had Bobby Moore, and they had the best players in the world. That would be like Messi and them coming to Baltimore playing after the World Cup. And they came down to John Booth School lot. About 6 of them came over and played us. A story never told. Came over, and here they come they come out of the bar, and they come over to the lot, start playing us a game of soccer. So in our neighborhood, everyone's coming over and watching because these are Bobby Moore, I mean, he was one of the greatest players ever from England. Jeff Hurst, the greatest striker. They're coming over to the school lot, to play against us, and one of them got kicked because the kids down there didn't really care who they were. We were just playing hard, and that was it. They said no more, and they left, and we shook hands with them, and they moved on. But these were the greatest players from England, from their World Cup team of '66, down in East Baltimore, playing us in a little friendly, just coming out of the bar and going, "Hey, let's go play."
I tell you what, I found the story Gordon Beard wrote on the AP. It's on this NASL Jerseys website. If anybody wants to Google it, hell, I'll share it. There are pictures of Pele playing at Memorial Stadium. It was May 30th, 1973. How about that?
There you go. There you go.
Pete Caringi joining us here, UMBC soccer coach. Okay, so for Messi and for the U.S. team, it was very apparent on Tuesday night the great divide between the greatest team in the world and how they can literally take the ball and hold it for 90% of the game. I mean, Pete, it looked like, no offense to your kids over at UMBC, but it looked like your UMBC kids running around out there with the greatest team in the world. I don't know how your team would fare on ball, trying to get the ball away from any one of the guys, Higuain or any of those guys. But the U.S., the best players in our country, could not figure out a way to get the ball away, right?
Yeah, they're so good, and I think the biggest problem was when they scored early in the first 3 minutes, then we had to go chase the game and try to pressure them. And they're just too good. They have players on the bench that could play for any team in the world. And it's like a dream team of soccer. So when you have to start chasing the ball and you can't get it, physically it exhausts you. And it just, you can see, no college team could play with them. And obviously the best players in the U.S., the U.S. national team struggled just trying to get the ball from them. And once we got it, we couldn't keep it, and I think that obviously hurts us too. But, I think the key to the game was giving up a goal in the first 3 minutes because it changes the way you want to play.
Well, and I guess for Messi and what makes him so special, in your words, tell me what makes him so special. And we've talked about Pele, and I've talked about Beckham, which is maybe the closest thing I could say. And I've been to World Cup games. I've seen the Italian team play in person in a World Cup game. I've seen some pretty good soccer. I don't know that I've seen anything like, and I've seen the U.S. play bad games, sloppy games, whatever. I don't even know how to criticize the U.S. team for the game on Tuesday night, or how they played, or even the goal that was given up to Messi. I find it hard to bitch about it as a U.S. fan. They put their best effort forward, but I don't know what makes Messi so great. People would ask me that about Gretzky 30 years ago with hockey, right?
Well, I just think, I think they just have that soccer sense that he's very technical. He's one of the most skillful players you'll see. He could pinpoint a ball anywhere he wants, which was obvious when he shot the ball, and you just watched him pass. And he's just that special. He's got the it factor. It's what makes LeBron different than some of the other players. Once they're on the court, in big situations, they rise to the occasion. But I think that I agree with you, and you're probably one of the few people that I agree with. There's a lot of criticism this morning about the U.S. and how they played, and this guy's not any good, and that guy's not any good, only because we lost. But I think it was a great run getting to the semifinals. 2 weeks ago, people were trying to get rid of Klinsmann, and, got them to the semifinals. And ideally, when you play a team that good and in that situation, and they're hungry to win a major tournament, Argentina. So they caught them at the wrong time, and it obviously wasn't one of the best U.S. Played games. There's a lot of guys you can be critical of, but I like to look at it as you just played against a great team with one of the best players ever, and you caught them in the wrong situation and gave up some bad goals, and that's the formula for losing a game for sure.
Pete, for you with Jurgen Klinsmann, let's be critical now, okay? You're the technical guy. You're the coach of the year. You've been doing this forever. I'm fascinated that he would want this job to begin with, knowing he probably is never going to raise a trophy here. I know there were 3.5 million reasons a year why he took the job. I know he likes the beach of California. I know he likes America. I find it very curious in general, right? And I said this to my wife, that's in the world of international soccer, going back to Bora Milutinovic and whomever coaching a team. I find it fascinating that Pete Caringi would want to coach the Turkish team, or that the Turkish government would want you coaching their team, or anyone else. I do find that part of it fascinating because the real hook is it's an American team with American players. You want an American coach. I get that maybe you want the philosophies from afar and I'm not even trying to be nationalistic or trying to be some Donald Trump about put up the wall and don't let anybody else in, but I find the whole thing to be a little curious, and I also find the criticism of him to be sort of in the same way as the Donald Trump. Well, he's not an American, let's get an American. He's a pretty boy, he comes over, what does he know? Well, he's won World Cups, and I know this is more of a low pressure job for him, but in that frying pan, it is an embarrassment to him that the way they lost, and there will be criticism from all over the world, even if people in this country don't give it to him. But I think it's a feather in the cap of the U.S. that they could get one of the best coaches in the world to actually come over and coach the team. And I think if there's criticism, it's probably for all the kids that got yellows that weren't even available to get on the pitch with Messi on Tuesday night and be able to participate in a game like that, because it wasn't the best effort, but it also wasn't the best squad. And then there's the individual criticisms of guys like Bradley, who certainly hasn't played well in this tournament, in my opinion.
No, and I think Bradley's, everyone's been really critical of him. And I just think, for me, I think it just shows how far we've come as a country in soccer, because, Nancy, I remember days where the United States national team would play and no one cared. Literally didn't care who played, what the result was. And now you see more and more. I mean, last night all over the internet, Facebook, the criticism of the team and the players and the coaching staff and every little thing. And I kind of laugh about it because although some of it was true, it just says a lot about where we are as a country, a soccer country, that the passion of our national team. And look, anytime you're at that level, I think, to take the national team position, the United States is a great position to have, the access of players and the finances of it and where you're living at. So I understand why he's here, and he has put a little bit of a German flavor on it, his own stamp. So, I think at that level, the results are going to play out. How well you do, you're going to keep your job. You're not, you come under criticism. That's all over the world. I mean, look at Brazil. They lose the tournament here in Copa, he's fired, Dunga. So, that happens.
Well, look at Mexico
the
the other day, for crying out loud, right?
I mean, he lost. They were on a roll. They lost the game, and criticism of what he'd done and what he didn't do. It's amazing. So that happens. The national team position in soccer all over the world is a very stressful job. Obviously, if you win, you're set for life. If you win the World Cup or you win major tournaments, and if you're not, you come under criticism. So I think Klinsmann understands that. And I just think that, like I said, a couple weeks ago, he was under heavy criticism from the way they were playing. And to get to the semifinals in this tournament was an accomplishment. And to play against you'd like to have played better last night for sure, but you played against a hot team with the world's best player. That's probably going to happen if you're not on your game. And like you said, I mean, no one's talking about the fact that 3 of their starters didn't play last night. I mean, that's huge right there. But it's a matter of how do you come out? Do you give up a goal easy? He gets a free kick goal, Messi. You're down 2-0, and at that point, the game's basically over.
Pete Caringi is the head coach of all things dogs and the Retrievers of UMBC. And, of course, fresh off that Final Four a couple years ago, as well as the National Coach of the Year. Always great to talk some soccer with Pete, my friend from Highlandtown. And so what's going on at UMBC? What do you got going on over there? I saw this youngster running around in the game on Tuesday night, and of course, Carl Delmont's a dear friend of ours and a sponsor of Fremont Mortgage. They just bought the Harrisburg Heat. He was Facebooking about this young man from Hershey who's 17 years of age on the pitch for the U.S. team. And then I remember Mark Pulisic playing for the Harrisburg Heat back when I called the games for the Baltimore Spirit and the Blast. And I mean, this kid's from Hershey, Pennsylvania. You're seeing a kid like that play at the high school level out on the recruiting trail, right?
Yeah, he's 17 years old, and you got to give him a lot of credit. And he's going to be a great player, and he's obviously one of the best young players we produced in a while. You got to go back to like Landon Donovan, that generation, Santino Carranza. Those kids did well when they were that age, and I think this kid, you give him an opportunity to play, he's going to learn, and that's what we have to do. We have to develop young talent and give him the opportunity to play in these big events. I mean, how much was that worth, him playing against Messi last night in front of 70,000 people in his home country? I think that experience alone will help him and help our country moving forward in soccer. That's for sure.
Well, in this region, there's a kid there right up the street that's playing. What are you doing during the summer? You got to be doing some camps and running around with the kids out there, right? Getting ready for your own season.
Doing our camp this week. We have a big camp again. I'm over Essex for my 34th year. I think we're the oldest camp in the area, and with the success, kids love it. They come. The parents are very supportive, and we make sure they have a little fun with it while they're learning. And we have our 3v3 tournament on the World Cup. We pick the teams and the countries, and they love that on Thursday. And then on Friday, I got Salenzo over there playing with me. I got my son, the coaching staff. So a lot of guys that came through the camp as kids, they're all over there working, and it's a fun thing. So we'll do that, and then we'll get ready for the UMBC season that'll come up in August. And it's going to be a young team, exciting team. I'm looking forward to the season. And basically, only 2 guys are left over from that team from 2 years ago in the Final Four. So we're starting over, but it's going to be a lot of fun doing it.
Yeah, I love when guys like you have success. You're like, we're young, we're starting. That's like the Bull Durham line now. Lower the expectations, raise the bar, right?
Nancy, that's in coaching 101. Remember that.
Oh, yeah. My show's not going to be real good today, but I hope you tune in. Hey, Pete, man, it's great having you on. And
I wanted to say I appreciate you talking soccer because obviously you're very knowledgeable about it. And not to blow your horn, but you've always been a big soccer supporter and a fan, and it's speaking for a lot of people in the Baltimore area. It's well needed, and you've been a big fan of the game, and I for one appreciate that. That's for sure.
Well, I appreciate you, man. Love you, appreciate you. We'll see you soon. We're going to get down there. I know everybody at UMBC. We've swapped for There Goes My Hero. Your soccer program's done some stuff.
Tell Jen to stay strong.
She's doing all right, man. We're hanging in there. It's
right.
some summertime. Time for you to go kick the ball down in Essex, man. Be well.
All right, thanks.
There he goes, Pete Caringi, the head coach at UMBC. The dogs are barking. The camps are out there, and hopefully I'm going to go see Messi play on Sunday night for the first time and talk a little soccer. And if you caught the game on Tuesday night, you know kind of how it went down. And if you have not seen the Messi goal, please just go see it. My tweet was Messi, that is all, and I think that is all. You can find anything you need in the buy a Toyota Audio Vault here at WNST.net. Of course, we're still sending that morning newspaper your way at 7 a.m. each and every morning. That is powered up by our friends at Planet Fitness and PlanetFitness.com. Still $10 a month to get in shape, and if you haven't checked out Planet of Triumphs, that's a cool website to get you motivated, get you in shape here during the summer months, get you into bikini shape. And last but not least, breaking news happens. At some point, something will happen with Ubaldo Jimenez, and we'll send it out, other than starting baseball games. It's all brought to you by our friends at Coons Ford of Security Boulevard. It is our best service. You do get the breaking news instantaneously. Thanks to Luke Jones, and thanks to Coons Ford of Security Boulevard. Dennis will be here on Thursday driving you home. Want to remind everyone, the week of July 11th, I'm presenting rock interviews that I did back in my youth. As I've said several times, the interviews aren't so good. The answers are great. The guy asking the questions at 21 years of age, not so much, but you will get a laugh out of it, and you will hear a different side of me talking to the likes of Kevin Cronin of REO Speedwagon and James Young from Styx and Robin Zander from Cheap Trick, amongst many, many others. Lots of Rock and Roll Hall of Famers. It is our WNST Rock Week. It is the week of July 11th. For those of you tuning in on Facebook Live, what's up? You can see my Raven hat, my Led Zeppelin shirt today. Kitty will not be doing any live television. She's scared by the sound of my radio voice. But we are broadcasting live now on YouTube and our WNSTV channel there, as well as Facebook Live over on the little blue thing with the F on it. I'm Nestor. This is WNST.net, AM 1570, and WNST Taos in Baltimore. And we never stop talking soccer and Baltimore sports.